Welcome to another edition of the weirdest official races in iRacing for weeks 5 to 8 of 2025 Season 3. First up, we have the NASCAR 1987 Legends at Motegi, and when I saw this I assumed it was the oval, but I looked closely and realized no, they're on the full road course. These things rarely but sometimes go to road courses, and they are a real handful. They have obviously no driving aids of any sort, much harder than even the other NASCAR stock cars in the game. You'll have to get your heel-toe skills back out again for the first time in a while, most likely, because yes, you need to properly shift these things. So these are an absolute handful. It will struggle to go official, to be honest. People won't want to run this, but it's pretty fun and a nice, interesting challenge that's different from most other things in iRacing. Going from one legend to another, we have the Legends Road Cup at the New Hampshire road course, also in week 5 of the season. This layout is pretty underused in iRacing. It doesn't come up very much, but it's pretty unique in that it's a roval that actually goes outside of the oval and back in again, which I think is unique in iRacing at least, and it's not used very often, and these cars will suit it quite well. The outfield is quite narrow and tight, but these tiny cars will put on some good racing there, so it should be a fun combo. Also in week 5, the advanced Mazda series goes to Road America, but using the bend layout. The bend layout adds a chicane before what would have been the kink at Road America, so that is now a much slower speed portion of the track, which is not really better in any way, but it's one of those rarely used layouts in iRacing, so if you want to be able to race that, because we don't know when it's going to come back next, this is your week to do so. In week 6, we have yet another return of Monza Combined. This does have the chicanes though, so it's not super crazy, but Monza Combined is just kind of dumb whenever it comes up, so it's always going to be in these videos. In week 6, you can race the BMW M-Power Challenge, Ferrari Challenge, and Rainmaster, so plenty of choices for ridiculous Monza action there. Also in week 6, we have the C-Class Street Stock Series going to Lime Rock. If you're a fan of the Tube Frame Twister Week 13 series, this is the week to run some street stocks. This is a typical combo you'd see on that schedule, and it's a lot of fun. These cars, they're always fun on road courses, honestly, so do check this out if you want something a bit different, but very fun. Should be a good race at Lime Rock. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want Tube Frame Twister as a full-time thing, so this is the one to check out if you want some more of that. In week 7, we have the Legends Road Cup again, this time at the Tsukuba 1000 reverse layout. If you don't know, Tsukuba 1000 is a shorter track just next to the main Tsukuba circuit, which is the 2000 layout. And not only is it this odd, unused next-door track, it's in reverse as well. So that's quite interesting. Not a track that comes up very often, but the Legends should race reasonably well there anyway. It's a small track and they're small cars, so it shouldn't be that weird, but it's one of those unused layouts, and it is not going to come up for some time. So this is your week to race it if you want to get that one in. Also in week 7 is the IMSA series at The Bend. I've included this because I feel like the IMSA schedule has been rather safe for the past bunch of seasons, nothing too out of the ordinary, and this being a brand new track feels like something just a bit different for IMSA and a bit out there compared to the usual things we see on that calendar. It's not super crazy of a race though. I mean, the Age of Le Mans series actually raced at The Bend back in 2020, so real life multi-class endurance racing has happened at The Bend. They used the full GT layout though. IMSA in iRacing this week will only be using the international layout, although I hear that's kind of the preferred layout anyway, to be honest, and it'll be a little bit easier to learn. This track does seem quite hard to learn. I haven't got my head around it just yet, but you know, there's not a lot of braking markers, things like that, but it's an interesting layout nonetheless, and I think it will race very fun in a multi-class race. So this should be something a bit different for IMSA, so check it out in week 7 if you want something just a bit different. In week 8, we have the SRX series at Lime Rock. This is the second time ever that the SRX series in iRacing has gone to a road course. The first being in my previous video. It was in week 4 of the season at Tsukuba. And I've got to say, while it's still a hard car on a road course, because it is, it's a lot nicer at Lime Rock, I think, than Tsukuba. The heavy braking for all the hairpins at Tsukuba is just really cumbersome in a car like this, whereas Lime Rock's a bit more flowing, a bit faster, and I find it a lot more fun to drive. So if you did give Tsukuba a go and you really didn't like it, maybe still try Lime Rock out, and if you still don't like that, well, maybe it's not for you. But I think this is quite a fun and challenging car on a road course, and Lime Rock will be a much more fun place to drive it, I think. Me and my community are racing a few time slots of this each week. I'll put the time slots on the screen now. Feel free to hop into any of these, because obviously this series doesn't go official very much. If you want to join our Discord, you can in the link below. We're often hanging out as we do these races or chatting about them. And I'm posting track guides every week on this channel and linking them in my Discord as well. So I will have a track guide out each week for SRX, including Lime Rock when it comes around. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see those. In week 8 as well, we have the Vintage Grand Prix Tour at the Nordschleife. If you don't know what this series is, it's a series that runs the whole year and has full-length Grand Prix distance races with the Lotus 79. And since this is the era of car that raced at the Nordschleife, well, it's on the calendar. So this is a full Grand Prix at the Nordschleife. That's something I've never done. I'm keen to give it a go. I would love to one day do it in a modern F1 car as well, because I think that would be even crazier. But this car should be a lot of fun at the Nordschleife, and it's a full-length Grand Prix at such an intense track, so I'm up for trying that. I'm going to link to the Discord for the Lotus 79 in the description below, because they are often sharing setups for free in there. So this is an open setup series, and if you don't have a setup shop subscription or anything like that, then you can hop in their Discord, grab them for free. They are generally very good setups. And if you don't know this car very well, this is going to be likely a no-stop race. The fuel lasts the distance if you fill it up, and the tires should last as well. This car is from before there were competitive pit stops in Formula 1, so you should be able to do the whole thing with no pit stop at all. That's all for this episode of the weirdest races in iRacing. Let me know in the comments below which of these races is most interesting to you, or if I've missed something that really should be on here. Catch you later.